it does beg that question of, we know we're attracting certain people that are going to be of the health conscious realm. But is that really enough, you feel, demand? Do you feel that there are enough people out there to continue the demand, and the opportunities will arise more and more to educate people to eat that way? Because it is about economics in some way, right? I understand this, that a lot of what we do in medicine is out of pocket. People like, no way. I'm not spending a dollar outside of insurance. Like, it's just not in the cards for me. And then we go, well, that's not for us. Just like if someone's like, hey, if there's a cheaper meal here, like, I'm going to go for that because it's just calories to me, right? And I got to worry about paying bills and everything else with inflation. So do you
Right.
feel that like you're just in a great, place right now, LA, all these places that are going to be your little pockets of health conscious that are willing to pay that? Or do you feel that there is a wave of kind of change going across the country where this could be really in every single state?
100% the latter. It is a sweeping movement, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
So we started up in Sacramento as a temporary pop up. We were only open 2 days a week. Um, Sacramento's not an LA market, right? And
Yeah.
we had right out of the gates 2 hour long lines, selling out of like 100 pounds of our French fries every Friday in like 2 hours. People were coming from all over Sacramento. I mean, literally, I tell people, like, there was like two moms I can remember that like were almost in tears, like saying, "Thank you for starting this. Like, we haven't been able to eat out in years." Blah, blah. And first, that was really special because I'm like, I feel your frustration and like emotional tie to it, because yeah, it's exhausting to cook at home every day, especially if you have kids. And so it's there. It's not just the big cities. And in fact, we picked Venice partly out of necessity. We needed to get open and quick, and this was the best spot we could do it. But these suburban markets, we're going to have better numbers in these suburban markets than we even do in the big cities, I think. And so it's without a doubt the demand is there. I mean, the amount of requests for franchises and you
Mm.
name it in all areas of the US. Like you said, random towns in the middle of nowhere. You're kind of like, all right, like, use your judgment. I probably got to get to, LA or New York
Yeah.
first or something before I go to, some, small town in the middle of nowhere. But, I think the cost thing, I'm so glad you brought that up, because recently we've one of our influencers has a big poll. Do you know Santa Cruz Medicinals? Follow him.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
he's got a big poll on the younger crowd, right? High school and college aged boys, and uh, you know, I, I was in their shoes not too long ago. They don't have a great aspect on like perceived value and
Yeah.
cost and understanding like what we're delivering. Well, it's so frustrating to me because a lot of our adult customers, they come in and they're like, wow, like these prices are really great, especially for LA, right? People are used to just wild prices. And, my goal was, with the ingredients that we are using and how we brand ourselves, and we could easily do the Erewhon grocery store model where our tacos, instead of being 17.95, which by the way, they're three large tacos, it's like over a quarter pound of meat. Uh,
Mm.
we those could be $25 tacos, base price. It really could. And I know we could get away with it. And when you hear some of these high school kids coming in like, oh wow, this is so much more expensive than Chipotle, and it's like, well, like duh, like of course,
Yeah.
if company A is using garbage and we are using high quality, more expensive ingredients, of course we're going to be more expensive. But the message has to be, spend the few extra bucks, spend the $4 extra, $5 extra compared to like a Chipotle. And even honestly, sometimes the spread's not even that big, because we measure all of our portions. So
Mm.
everybody's always getting a quarter pound of meat on every bowl. Um, but spend the $4 or $5 extra. It's better for your health. You'll be more satiated. It's more filling. And so we're purposefully trying to cap ourselves at a kind of reasonable bottom line profit margin that can allow us to expand and scale and reinvest. But one, too, that's not like almost, I honestly, Erewhon's a great brand. They have great products. some of their prices are almost like
Oh,
insulting high.
astronomical. Yeah.
I'm walking in there, I'm like, damn it, $25 for this smoothie, blah, blah. Here's my card. Because
Yeah.
it's a good product. And, I know we could make that work. But that's not my goal. If I was in this for money, I would have stayed and grew this in Sacramento to 10 stores, had a super profitable, easy to run 10 location chain, and maybe expanded throughout California over time. But that's not my goal. My goal is I'm trying to bring this. I'm trying to give everyone as much access as possible to the healthiest eating experience they can have. That's my goal, plain and simple. And so keeping those prices low, we make a lot of, really strategic and creative decisions on how to keep these prices low, whether it's the cuts of our meat or, the expanse of our menu. We really think it through and try and keep these prices low. And we have some initiatives we're going to roll out down the line to keep them even lower, such as memberships, where basically, we're taking the trade-off of, it's not even that I want to lock them into a membership. I mean, sure, it's great to have that recurring revenue, but it's also, hey, I'll trade you. I'll give you a cheaper product if you pay me ahead of time, right? That's the concept. And so we're actively trying to keep it at the most reasonable, fair price we can is the idea. And, down the road, if there's markets, low income markets that we can't serve, we've got other ideas up our sleeve of kind of sister chains and things we can roll out where, you change what you're serving slightly and keep the prices lower to serve these kind of underserved markets. But I think, before we even get to that, I think, as I'm sure you're probably aware of, it's first the educational part. Yeah. Because the fact of the matter is, it is the more affluent markets, and not even like the super rich, but just the middle class, upper class earners that have more access to the information. Maybe not even access, but they have more time in their lives to care about sure. What's my VO2 max and what's my BMI. Whereas a lot of these people, they don't, including some of the employees like at our restaurant, like they don't got time to worry about, does this burger have seed oils in it? Is this not? Like, they're just trying to get through life. They're trying to put food on the table, get a paycheck. They've got bigger problems in their lives. And so, I think what you're doing with your podcast and, what all these other influencers are doing is that's probably one of the most important parts for the growth of our business. Creating more consumers through education. Because I think once people understand it, it's a no-brainer. Yeah. I'd spend much more than $4 extra to continually eat food that is healthy. The amount you save on the hospital and just how you feel after. Now, I'm sure it's the same with you. If I deviate from, healthy eating, it doesn't have to be I could eat a salad. I could eat a, whatever, one of our rice bowls, whatever it is. But if I go and eat something that's got seed oils in it or some other processed crap, I'm wrecked for the day. And I'm like, never again. I'm not touching it. I'm not doing it. And it just takes people getting to that point where, the switch is now permanent. So anyway, the educational part is probably the most important part. And then it's just, unfortunately, you got to kind of rely on, hopefully I remain, a benevolent leader of this brand and keep the initiative to keep prices low. I don't think there's any way other than that, other than just you hope the brand has the goal of keeping the prices lower, or else it's very tempting to, increase your prices when people will still buy it.
Well, there's a growing number of people that understand the greatest ROI you could have is by putting your money into your health, right? Into how you feel every day. And I think a lot of those people are learning it, unfortunately, through experience of being chronically ill, feeling poorly time and time again, mostly a lot of the time because of what they're putting into their body and eating on a daily basis.